Essentially, what we are trying to say out here is that the token served on foreign infrastructure is not an export of the compute. So essentially, what we have is a distribution versus commoditization of the compute. The phrase token export has entered the discussion as shorthand for cross-border inference served by Chinese models, but the underlying mechanics are closer to model distribution than to genuine cross-border trade in compute. Analysts at the China Academy of Information and Communications Technology have flagged this directly. Many Chinese models appearing on OpenRouter are hosted on overseas cloud infrastructure with inference running outside mainland data centers. The distinction is economically material. A token served from a US or a Singapore data center running Chinese open weight model represents weight level distribution by Chinese lab, but the compute revenue captured by hosting provider. The value chain splits model developer versus compute provider. Absent vertically integrated cross-border compute, Chinese labs export the artifact and not the infrastructure that monetizes it. So essentially, what we are trying to say out here is that the token served on foreign infrastructure is not an export of the compute. It's an export of the weights. The difference is where the margin sits. Now, this has three implications worth flagging for the allocators watching this particular space. First and foremost, the compute rent accrues to whoever owns the stack. The hyperscale cloud providers, for example, AWS, Azure, GCP, and specialized inference layer represented by firms like CoreWeave and Lambda, send downstream on the model and capture the recurring compute spend. Chinese labs distributing through these rents participate in the demand curve but not in the infrastructure capex return. Secondly, we have to understand the weight distribution is reversible, but infrastructure is not. The open weight models can be delisted or throttled on the platform layer as the regulatory and geopolitical pressure intensifies. A model's presence on OpenRouter or on a hosted Western cloud is a policy contingent position, not a secured economic channel. Data center infrastructure, by contrast, is a durable asset with multi-decade depreciation schedule. And lastly, we need to talk about the domestic inference that will eventually close the loop. Token consumption inside China has expanded from roughly 100 billion per day in early 2024 to about 140 trillion per day by March of 2026, with the growth of over 40% in the first quarter of this year alone. If the domestic build-out of the compute capacity continues on the current trajectory, Chinese labs will increasingly serve their own workloads on domestic rails. That is the point at which token export begins to mean something closer to the literal sense.